Party Mimosa, or Season 7 Mimosa, has just dropped on the global side of the game for Black Clover Mobile, and today we're going to be talking about how you guys should be building this character to maximize her potential, including what skills you want to upgrade first, what skill pages you want to equip on her, what gear you want to run on her, whether or not you actually want to enhance her, what talents you want to run on her talent tree, and then of course what teams is she going to fit well on for both PvP and PvE. Let's start by talking about her unique passive. You get this for getting Mimosa to LR status. At the start of the battle, if all allies have the sense attribute or are green, it will grant invulnerability to the ally with the highest all attack for one turn. Now, typically, you're probably going to be running her with like Fauna if you're running a mono green team. So that means it will give invulnerability to Fauna, which is pretty good because that's just going to give her more survivability. So not a bad overall unique passive just for getting her to LR status. Her skill 1, on the other hand, is called Flower Cradle Strike. It is a single target attack, and it grants 15% of own max HP as HP recovery to the ally with the lowest HP ratio. And you can increase the amount of healing you do overall as you upgrade the skill. Overall, I would say this is very similar to Season 1's Mimosa's skill 1, so pretty similar thing right there. Her skill 2 is called Shall We Dance. This one does a lot of different things. So it is a 40% chance to grant an ally reduced HP recovery received removal, and you can actually upgrade that percentage chance to activate that as you upgrade the skill. Grants an ally 100% of own max HP as HP recovery. That is a lot of HP recovery if you have this character built correctly. And then grants an ally all continuous damage removal, which I think is absolutely amazing, considering we are in this meta of like Mara Leona or Black Asta with Witch Queen. Witch Queen does the bleeds and stuff like that. So you're dealing with bleeds and burns and stuff like that. So this will be able to get rid of those bleeds and burns, which is pretty nice. And so if you were to run like a specific talent here that lowers your skill to cooldown or has a 20% chance to, that means you could potentially be like back-to-back removing continuous damage, which could be pretty useful. And then grants an ally a defense penetration level 3 buff for 2 turns. You only get this particular skill if you have her skill page equipped, and this right here alone I think makes her very good to run with her skill page. Now her skill page does more than just this, right? But I think that makes her skill page very good. Then her special skill is called Welcome to the Party. Grants resurrection to an ally, restoring their HP to its normally 60% without having to upgrade it. I do have it upgraded once. You can upgrade it all the way to 100%. So you can resurrect an ally with 100% of their HP if you want. And then grants an ally status ailment removal, which is pretty cool as well. And then for her combo skill, this is one of the characters where her combo skill is actually the most important skill. So make sure you guys are paying attention here. Grants the partnered mage a SP plus 2 buff, 55% chance to grant the partner mage an SP plus 1 buff. You can upgrade this all the way and get a 100% chance to get that extra SP plus 1. So using a combo skill with a partner mage is going to potentially give them 3 SPs on the combo skill. And then her unique passive, when you get her to enhancement level 2, every turn grants all allies an SP plus 1 buff. So essentially, by using this combo skill, you are going to be able to give an ally that you are paired with SP plus 4 in 1 turn. That is insanely good. Especially if you take into consideration you might want to pair her with like this Charlotte right here, who also gives SP points back. It can get kind of crazy and really help you do some crazy things. Now, in terms of skill pages, like I said, I do think her skill page works really well because of the defense penetration, but additionally, it has a 60% chance to grant all allies a 15% increased magic attack buff for 1 turn upon using a skill. That's just going to be nice for extra damage. And if we go and take a look here, you can upgrade that activation rate for the overall magic attack, and you can increase the amount of magic attack as well. So she could be very potentially good if you were using her, for example, with Green Fauna, who is a large magic attack AoE damage dealer, right? She's one of the biggest, best damage dealers in the game. Now, if you don't have this skill page for her, there are some other options. So one of those options, and one of my favorite options, is Adventurer's Journal. And so what this is going to do is it's going to apply a 10 to 20% increased max HP to yourself. Why is that important? Because once again, her healing scales off of how much HP she has. So the more HP you have, the more healing you're going to be able to do. So I do think this is a pretty good skill page, and it's fairly obtainable for most people. Another option you can run, similar to the previous skill page, but like a worse version because it is an SR version, is called Meat Enthusiast. It's the charmy one, and it applies a 7 to 15% increase max HP yourself, depending on how far you have this skill page enhanced. But 15% increase max HP on an SR is still pretty good, and that will still help out Mimosa quite a bit. And last but not least, if you don't pull the new seasonal Mimosa skill page, you can use Season 1's skill page, and this has a 20 to 25% chance to remove one debuff from all allies upon using skill 2. So on top of everything her skill 2 already does, you also have a chance to remove debuffs from your allies, which is just another good potential thing you can run. Now, in terms of skill pages, I don't think this one's probably like the worst one you can run out of the ones I've shown, really. But overall, my opinion is just like if you have her skill page, probably run that because the defense penetration is really nice depending on who you're running her with. Like, for example, if you're running her with Green Fauna, and the extra magic attack is also very nice. So for a healer to be able to give defense penetration and magic attack on top of her healing, I think is really, really great. Moving on to gear, please forgive me for the SSR and the UR. I need to farm out more of these. I've been using them for Transcendence, so right now I just kind of put them there as placeholders. Eventually, actually very soon, I'm going to go and get the LR versions of each of these gear pieces, but these are the ideal gear sets that I would probably equip to this Mimosa, and these are this is like the exact way I would set it up, okay? I do need to get these to plus 12, and it will help out like immensely with their overall CC and stuff like that, getting some rerolls on the substats and all that good stuff. But basically what you're going to want is you're going to want a half gold defense set, a half gold HP set, and a half gold mobility set. Now, what do I mean when I say gold sets? I mean they have a gold star on them. So if you go to grade over here and go to set, you can see all the different sets in the game. You have a normal attack set, defense set, HP set, so on and so forth right here. Over here you have the same things, but they have a gold star, attack, defense, HP, so on and so forth. The gold sets are always going to be better than the regular sets, so you want to make sure that you are equipping gold set gear pieces to your gear tree here if you can. So for the gold defense set, you can see that I have the this piece equipped right here to Mimosa and this piece. So that would be this piece here, and if I can remember right, this piece. Okay, so these two pieces are for the gold defense set. And then for the gold HP set, we have the medallion here and we have the mirror. So there's that, and then there's that. And then for the mobility set, we have this piece here, and we also have this piece here. So these two pieces here. And this extra piece right here is just an extra piece. I do recommend an HP piece for that extra slot, just to give her as much HP as possible. All four of these pieces, the main stat you're building towards is going to be HP. So you'll notice that her highest stat that I'm increasing right now is HP overall. That is what you want to aim for. And then for these right here, you're gonna go for magic attack if you can. I do recommend magic attack over going for attack, but really it doesn't matter because she's never gonna deal the most damage. So the biggest things you're going for are the sets, and you're going for overall building towards HP. Now, as for substats, I do recommend two substats in general. I would go for a defense substat, preferably a percentage, not a number like this, and preferably not a C. You would go for like an A or an S. And then I would also go for an HP substat. I don't know if I have any here with an HP substat because I haven't really re-rolled any of these yet. There's an HP one. But once again, I would ideally go for like a percentage, HP percentage substat to give her as much HP as possible. So in terms of substats, go for HP and defense. That will help Mimosa out the most. And then let's talk about enhancement. Okay, so we've already kind of covered how getting her to enhancement level 2 is really good because it's going to, every turn that she gets, grants all allies an SP plus 1 buff. That is really, really useful and really good. I do think it is worth getting her to enhancement level 2 if you're going to be using her as one of your main healers. Now, I will say when it comes to teams, she is an optional character. You do not have to use her. You do not need her in the meta. She works well in the meta, but she's not necessary. There are plenty of other characters, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about going crazy on this character, trying to even get her to plus 2. You can do just fine with a regular Mimosa without dupes, so keep that in mind. But I do think getting her to plus 2 is helpful because it does give that SP plus 1. And then for max dupes, it's definitely not necessary, okay, to get her to max dupes, but when she dies, grants all allies 100% of own max HP as HP recovery. Now, ideally, if you're building this character right, though, here's the problem. She's probably not going to be the first one dying because you're building her with a ton of HP and also quite a bit of defense, depending on how you build her. especially with the 30% defense set, or if you ended up actually building her more defensively instead of like with HP pieces. So just keep that in mind. I don't know. I don't like that particularly too much. I don't really think it's worth getting her to 5-star enhancement. So overall, if you can get her to 2 dupes, go for it, but don't go broke for it, at the same time. And then in terms of talents, what would I run on her? Well, the attack tree is probably the least important tree. I would go for magic attack, and I would go for stacking crit rate. Honestly, you can go for any of these. It's not going to make much of a difference. The attack tree doesn't really matter on healers. For the defense tree, I would go for the stacking defense and crit resist. And then more importantly, I would go for the max HP. Once again, all of her healing scales off HP, so I would definitely go for that. I'll actually flourish that right now. And then for the support tree, I would go for damage resist, and I would actually probably personally go for the Mage's Blessing, which is a 20% chance to grant a reduced skill 2 cooldown by 1 turn buff at the start of a turn, because that has the nullification for the continuous damage like burns and stuff like that. So it's really nice if you're able to get your skill 2 up more consistently, but you don't have to run this one. You could always run Swiftness, which gives SP +1 upon having less than 2 SPs. It's just going to let her get back her special skill a little bit faster, let you get your Resurrect back a little bit faster. So just depending on kind of what you're looking for. So I'd say this is more of a PvP talent, and this one right here, giving the SP +1, is more of a PvE talent because you're going to want that Resurrect for potentially like a raid or something like that. So those are the talents I would run on Mimosa, and that just leaves us with talking about her teams. So the very first team that I'm going to recommend to you guys right now on Global that I think works out pretty well would be this team right here. So this is not a mono green team, and the idea behind this team is you are going to be able to use Witch Queen. She is going to put Asta into anti-magic with her special, and then Asta is going to be able to do his AoE, right? And then he's going to heal back up out of anti-magic, and then you're going to be able to combo skill with Mimosa, give her back +4 SP in one combo skill, and then you're going to be able to use your skill 2 here with Charlotte on her, give her extra SP, and then she'll do 1 skill, and she'll be at max special points again, and then she can ult within 2 turns again and give Asta anti-magic right away. So you can basically get Asta anti-magic 2 times within about 3 to 4 turns, which is absolutely insane. So that is one very good potential use for Mimosa that I think a lot of people are going to overlook. So I feel like that could be really, really insane, and I feel like this team could work out and just make Black Asta even more annoying than he already is. Not to mention, now you're running 2 healers that are just freaking annoying, and all the damage reduction you also get from Charlotte. Like, this is just, it's a very, very strong team, very annoying team that you could potentially run for this. And then another option would be your mono green team here. So this would be a Marileona, Charlotte, Fauna, and Mimosa team. The idea here is to give Fauna defense penetration with your skill 2, and then also you're going to be able to give her extra magic attack and stuff like that with your skill card, skill page if you have it. And additionally, she's going to be able to give back SP a little bit quicker to Fauna, so Fauna can potentially get 2 ults or stuff like that. So she can ult at the start, then you can build up your hatred, and then by the time Fauna has built up her hatred, she has another ult ready to go because of Mimosa and Charlotte being on the team. So this is another potential mono green team you could run. Overall, I would say this team is more of a PvP, PvE oriented team. It could work for both fairly easily. Like Hall of Illusions, I could easily see myself taking this particular team into Hall of Illusions, the higher stages like 95, 100, and probably beating Hall of Illusions with this team. It also will work pretty well in PvP. The mono green team here, though, on the other hand, I would say is probably only realistically going to work in PvP. It might work in PvE, but I don't think it'll work nearly as well in PvE as like this team would right here. Additionally, later on Global, when we get like the new Vanessa and stuff like that, we might end up switching out some of these characters just depending, but you can run like this Mimosa with the new Vanessa, and they work pretty well together as well. So that is Mimosa's build guide, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Peace.